Joining us live on this 10-degree outside morning, we have Marshfield Veterans Agent Carin Paulette and Lisa Potts, who's the Marshfield Assistant Veterans Service Officer.
Hello.
Hello.
Good
And
morning.
you're dressed for the cold weather.
We are.
which is
Yes,
good.
we are.
Bundled up.
Cold weather, warm hearts, good information. Glad to see you
Yeah.
again. You always are so terrific about giving us updates on all these information sessions that you have
So
for local
important.
veterans. But you combine it. You make it fun and you involve coffee.
We try.
Carin.
We
Lots
gotta
of
have.
coffee.
We gotta have fun.
That's right. Tell me about the next Marshfield Veterans Coffee Hour.
So, like always, we have our coffee hour the last Wednesday of the month. So this month it is Wednesday, January 29th from 10 to 11 at the Council on Aging. And we're going to have a local funeral director come in and just talk about some of our veterans and their families, their options for burial, which is really important. A lot of veterans don't know what their options are, and a lot of them are life-changing, meaning financially, which is really good.
No, I don't know, too. I just saw a little bit on the notes here. I was looking at some background because I know very little about this because you think, well, Bourne is, the veteran cemetery. What about a spouse? Can a spouse be buried with you in Bourne?
So
or no?
veterans and spouses at Bourne, what people don't know is that you can be buried with your spouse. If your spouse predeceases you or predeceases the veteran, they can be placed at Bourne prior to you. Many people assume the veteran has to pass first in order to get that to get into Bourne.
Right,
But that's
right.
not the case.
Well, what about, let's say, what if they both want to be cremated or one wants to be cremated, one wants to be buried? Do they have to do everything the same or no?
No. They can be buried together. They can be separate.
They will work it out.
They will
work
figure
it out.
But it's a good idea to work it out before it happens.
Yes.
So that's why you're emphasizing, again, time and place for the Veterans Coffee Hour.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of before it happens, if you as the veteran know you want to go to Bourne, it's beautiful there. You can do a predetermination form, and what that does is just kind of takes out a little bit of the legwork for the family and the funeral home because you're already considered approved to go in. So they just validate you're an approved veteran to go into Bourne, and you do one for your spouse as well, so they're separate. And it just takes a little bit of the concern or the wonder for that family when something does happen. It's just kind of already there. There is no savesies. You can't put a, this is mine.
This is my phone.
There is no reservations, but you can do an extra step to just make that process a little simpler for your family.
And we can help you with that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I imagine veterans and their families, this is probably a question that's always at the back of their mind. And, it's tough. It's a tough subject to bring up. But I think if you even talk about some of it, you can maybe worry just a little bit less.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it makes
Absolutely.
a lot of the families feel better having just, even if it's that small piece, just set.
Buttoned up.
Nothing to worry about.
Do you find that people, when they ask you about this, ask questions, are they hesitant about it? What typically?
I think most are absolutely, and that's what we try to soften the blow and
Yeah.
say it's veteran estate planning, and we have them come in, we fill out forms, we keep things on file, and just assure them that we have a great relationship with our local funeral directors, and hopefully we can put their minds at ease.
Now, if somebody has never been to one of your veterans coffee hours and they're a veteran or the spouse of a
Yes.
veteran, you talk about more than just the funeral arrangements. You
have-
talk about a lot of stuff.
And we have the best donuts.
Yes, we do. Good donuts.
Did you hear that?
best.
Food.
Good donuts.
I know that's always a big attraction.
Yeah.
What are some of the typical topics that also come up at the Veterans Coffee?
But the majority is the benefits and what is offered through the state, through the federal government, through the VA, through the town. What are our benefits? And
Who we are.
they're who we are.
We had a veteran yesterday who had no idea we existed, and he came in and he was working with a company who was going to take money from him, and
Out of
just so
Texas.
if anybody knows anything, you should never pay for your claim. If someone is offering to help you with a claim, you should not be shelling out any money. They should be not taking any piece of your retro that you might get with the VA.
Nope.
You should not be spending one dime. If you're spending a dime, there's something wrong.
That's good to know. If people have more questions about that or anything that your office deals with, what's the best way for them to contact you?
By
Ms.
phone,
Potts?
781-834-5576. I'll never forget that number.
And you're on Facebook, you're on
Yes, Facebook.
social media, and you have an office right in Town Hall.
Yes,
We
we
do.
do. First
We do.
office on the right.
And then we're also going to be at the COA a couple hours.
Starting in February, we're going to go to the COA on Wednesdays from 11 to 1
Yeah, about
on
2
Wednesdays.
Okay.
Just
think,
to
yeah.
just to have a face over
We're
there
gonna
and
start
find
making our
some
way
more people.
around.
And of course,
around town.
that's the Marshfield Council on Aging. They're
Yes.
right there at
Yes.
230 Webster Street, right near the Daniel Webster Estate. We'll put this information up
Thank you.
online.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We appreciate you joining us today. And again, Carin, Paulette, and Lisa Potts, the Marshfield Veterans Agents. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Stay
Thank
warm.
you.
You too
Yes.
stay warm.
Stay warm.